This is Witch-based news for Friday the 15th of May 2026. I'm Commander Buur. In Elite Dangerous news this week, the mystery deepens surrounding the mercenary attacks on the bubble, Frontier issues a financial trading update to the stock market, and there's an opportunity to grab some more pre-engineered cargo racks in this week's CG. If you enjoy our videos, consider subscribing to the channel and remember to ding the little bell to make sure you see all our content and community posts. And if you'd like to help support our channel, links to our Patreon and everything else you'll find in the description below. Whilst the end of last year and the first part of this year saw in-game events dominated by the discovery in HIP 87621 of the Radicoida unica mushroom tree plant things and the resultant conflict in the space around them, as well as the celebrity and social media wellness phenomena, the narrative in much more recent times has shifted focus somewhat to a sudden and unexpected rise in attacks by what has been described as a previously unknown mercenary force. These attacks have, thus far at least, increased in ferocity and effectiveness to such a degree that we recently saw 4 full-size starports in the Lu Man system attacked and left disabled and burning in space, necessitating the evacuation of their population. Aside from being highly organised and well equipped, a signature of the recent attacks is the use of malware on the targeted star system's IT infrastructure. The attacker's signature, a twin axe motif, was found throughout the deployed malware. Galnet reports this week have confirmed that the mercenary group is actually a coalition of disparate mercenaries, pirates and ne'er-do-wells, and furthermore that they are being led by an individual who goes by the alias of Lady Z. This is something we spoke about in our midweek video, which you can find linked on screen now if you haven't seen it. But whilst an individual calling themselves Lady Z hasn't been heard of in Elite lore before, there are some striking similarities to a 4-year-old mystery in the game and another previously named individual whose whereabouts, or at least fate, is still currently unknown. Some extensive googling has revealed the following from real-world history. Lady Z is also known as Fu Hao, and she was a legendary Shang dynasty queen who defied 12th century BC norms by serving as both a high priestess and a formidable military general, commanding armies of up to 13,000 soldiers. Fu Hao is often referred to by her posthumous title of Lady Z, and she remains one of history's earliest documented female commanders. Importantly, she was famously buried with 2 sets of bronze battle axes that symbolised her status and tactical power. There is no doubt in my mind that it's this real-world historical, powerful and charismatic character that our new in-game antagonist is attempting to align herself with. The question remains, however, just who is the in-game Lady Z? It's entirely possible that the Elite Dangerous Lady Z is a completely new, previously unheard of character. If they are, then from a storyteller's perspective at least, giving her an alias or a nickname would seem to serve little purpose beyond the aforementioned historical alignment. If however FDev are attempting to obfuscate her true identity, location and motivation, then what Galnet refers to as a nom de guerre makes perfect sense, particularly when paired with a deeper real-world historical significance. We obviously can't yet say for sure who our Lady Z is, but 4 years ago Frontier inserted a new criminal faction into the game that was, at the time, deemed to be of such importance that they were given their own in-game codex entry alongside such galactic scale players as the Pilots Federation, the Thargoids and the Guardians. Human NPC factions are rarely, if ever, afforded this honour. Stemming as far back as the 3120s, that criminal faction is called the Consortium. Not to be confused with the October Consortium, which is, as best we can determine, entirely legitimate and a completely different entity. But hold on to that thought and I'll circle back to it in just a moment. As well as getting a codex entry all to themselves, the Consortium was placed in a system far out in deep space, some 4,000 light years from the bubble. At the time, there was absolutely nothing else around it. As we discussed on Wednesday, colonisation has since put pay to the isolation of that location, but regardless, for the moment at least, the Consortium are still limited to that area of space. Furthermore, the codex entry tells of the Consortium's at the time enigmatic female leader, one Caitlin Voss. At the Consortium's height, they were so feared and so powerful that, having assassinated most if not all of their rival organised crime bosses in one single suicide bombing incident, they began hoovering up smaller criminal organisations into one massive coalition of evil. There are various theories and legends surrounding what happened to Caitlin Voss. Some suggest she extended her life with the use of progenitor cells, others that she passed the mantle of power onto an underling upon her death. But regardless of what actually happened, if you circle your mind back to what we know of our current Lady Z's coalition of the bad, then all of this should be starting to rhyme somewhat. I said I'd circle back to the October Consortium. One other point worth noting, the final paragraph of the Consortium's codex entry notes the following, quote, "Ironically, many of the organisation's most senior figures are believed to have segued into legitimate business, leading intelligence agencies to theorise that those at the top of the Consortium may, to all outward appearance, be law-abiding citizens. Only the capture of the Consortium's leader, whoever that may be, could threaten its dominion." End quote. The word consortium is a conspicuous one to use in two seemingly disparate and separate storylines in 1 year when defining two entirely different entities in the game. The October Consortium, the legitimate corporate entity that discovered and kept hidden the Radicoida Unica, is headed up by one Lexi October. It was pointed out to us by Commander Gaz Ubermick that the Z in Lexi and the English pronunciation of the Lady Z are phonetically extremely similar, so it is entirely possible that Lady Z is merely a cover name for Lexi October and her now legitimate corporate arm. It's worth noting further that the mercenary raiders of Lady Z appear to be very well armed, resourced and organised. You could argue that would require the kind of blank cheque financing that a billionaire like Lexi and her October Consortium could easily wield if they so desired. Whatever the case, this whole affair is by no means over. It was hinted in the two Galnet articles this week that the Lou Man's attack may have been a simple attempt to probe security measures and response times, leading to the belief that not only will the forces of Lady Z be back, but likely better prepared to hit the bubble harder than ever before. Whatever happens, whenever it happens, we'll keep you posted right here. Frontier Developments issued a positive trading update to the London Stock Exchange this week, which we've linked to below, upgrading revenue and profit forecasts just ahead of their financial year end on the 31st of May. The company is set to finish the year in a remarkably strong position, driven largely by the breakout success of Jurassic World Evolution 3. The title has reportedly outperformed its predecessor over the equivalent post-launch period, and this momentum, bolstered by steady long-tail sales from legacy titles like Elite Dangerous, has prompted the board to raise their overall revenue expectations. Despite these strong figures, it hasn't been entirely smooth sailing. Frontier has recently navigated turbulent waters regarding community engagement. A period of silence sparked a backlash within the Jurassic World community, ultimately compelling the studio to issue a public apology. This backlash echoed similar frustrations voiced by Elite Dangerous players just weeks prior, which we also reported on. Interestingly, this week's statement clarified that the communication delays regarding Jurassic World Evolution 3 were, quote, beyond Frontier's control, end quote. While the company stopped short of providing specifics, we can only speculate on what that actually means. Frontier also upgraded its operating profit projections, citing two primary factors, those being higher than anticipated claims from the video games tax relief scheme and continued internal measures to streamline expenditure. The company's balance sheet appears increasingly robust. Despite spending over £15 million on a second share buyback program, Frontier's cash reserves have actually grown. This extra liquidity provides a significant safety net and expanded capital for future development. Looking ahead from this point, the new CEO Joe Cooke, who succeeded the outgoing Johnny Watts in December, appears to be steering Frontier towards a strong finish for this financial year. We're looking forward here towards the 11th of June when the full annual results will be published, which should provide a deeper dive into the studio's financial health and the performance of Elite Dangerous over the last 12 months. It'll be interesting to see the impact of continued ship and ARX sales, especially when considering the company's recent confidence in releasing the new Lynx Highliner to the entire player base for 0 ARX, a move that suggests a very comfortable and perhaps more flexible financial position. And of particular interest will be what CEO Joe Cooke has to say next month about Elite Dangerous specifically. She stated publicly before that the flagship space sim was the reason she joined Frontier in the first place and that it's well positioned for the future. A new community goal went live on Thursday after the previous duo CGs featuring Passenger Evac and Bounty Collection came to an end. We've spoken about the reasons for the new CG and the greater ramifications of it already in this broadcast. Suffice to say, it's operating out of the Ryman Enterprise starport in the Luman system and concerns itself with the repair of the stations that were on fire last week following mercenary attacks. The important detail surrounding this latest CG is the rewards it's offering, over and above the usual credit payments for shipping goods, in this case power generators, titanium and aluminium, and the overall tier dependent credits bonus at the CG's conclusion. For just one contribution, essentially 1 ton of any of the required commodities, you'll receive a Class 5 pre-engineered cargo rack and a Class 6 pre-engineered cargo rack, as well as a Panther Clipper paint job, an image of which hasn't yet been released by FDEV. Anyone who has grabbed the cargo racks before will know they are optimised to carry over and above the capacity of regular cargo racks. Regular cargo racks in size 5 and 6 can handle 32 and 64 tons respectively. The pre-engineered cargo racks can handle increased loads of 43 and 86 tons respectively. This means that if you have been able to grab the 2 previous releases of the new racks, then the new absolute maximum capacity of the Panther Clipper, the current largest hauler in the game, is now up around 1,325 tons if you're happy running without a shield. The cargo racks can of course be used in other ships as well, meaning your do-it-all bubble utility bus has more flexibility, or your Type 11 can stay in the rings that little bit longer. At the time of recording, the CG has around 11,000 commanders signed up to it, and at the current rate of progress it'll hit 88% of its total target when it ends next Thursday. These racks can't currently be gained through any other means, such as a tech broker or through engineering however, so if you want a set and the time becomes available to you, I wouldn't wait to get in at least one contribution to make sure you secure them, just in case. Who do you think the mysterious Lady Z really is? Do you trust the motivations of the October Consortium? And will you be bagging yourself some engineered cargo racks? Let us know in the comments below. That's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. We'll be back later this week with more videos. Until then, 07 Commanders, follow the greens on the way out and do keep clear of the toast rack. We very much look forward to seeing you next time.